Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. First of all, happy Australia Day. To you Brits that don't know what Australia Day is, what is it?
It's a, in Australia, public holiday, UK bank holiday. So basically you get the day off work.
Yeah. So yeah, you just go to the beach, chill out, if you go in your pool, if you've got a pool, or just drink basically and don't work.
So how did we celebrate Australia Day?
Yeah, we went full Aussie and bought a Weber BBQ. So we're looking forward to using that.
It's very cute. There was a colour choice of red, black, grey or blue. And we went for
red. So we'll stick a picture of that on there so you can see in case you are interested. So yeah, we'll be using that later. So anyway, welcome everyone if you've not been watching our videos. We've been in Australia now 3 months, is it?
Yeah, about that.
So we came over on a 482 visa, which is for 2 years, and we're in the process of going for a permanent residency.
Yeah, we're doing that through your occupation because you have an occupation that's on the skills list. So me and the kids are just here on
Just tagging along.
like partner/dependent visas, and that's the same for the 482, and it will be the same for the PR visa. So yeah, it's been an interesting 3 months, and we've loved every minute, haven't we?
Yeah, we've never thought about going back to England. Not really crossed our minds really. It's just so much better over here. Check out our other videos up there, I think, about our whole story of how and why and what we're up to. But yeah, in this video, we've been asked a few times on our Instagram page. Check us out there. Basically, how much did it cost?
Where did all our money go?
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll do a little breakdown of what we've spent. Should we start at the beginning?
Yes, it's quite scary when you start adding it all up because you pay for all these little bits all along the way and you don't actually realise how much you've spent. So
until you add it up like we've just done.
Yeah.
So it started back in February 23?
Yes.
2023.
We needed to come out here before we decided to come out here on a temporary/permanent basis because we'd never been to Australia before, not any part of it.
Never even thought about really going here, did we? We've always, like I said, we've been to America every year, so kind of Australia never really crossed our mind before.
So it was important to come out for a recce trip to check out the areas, check out the schools, check out living accommodation, the beaches, shopping, all of those things. So we did that in February last year.
Yeah. So we'll do a little price breakdown of how much that cost us just for our recce trip. It was 2 weeks. I think it was Valentine's Day we landed. So yeah, our recce trip cost us at the time £9,252. Obviously, prices may vary from the time of year you go. Also on top of that, we had travel insurance, which is £58. Then you got your car hire, that was £422 roughly. You have a taxi to Stansted Airport from our home in England, that was about £240. What else we do? The hotel, car parking, it's quite expensive. We stayed in the centre of Brisbane, and the car parking now is ridiculous. I think it's cheap on the weekends, but during the week it's just crazy. So for the 2 weeks, car parking came to £178. Petrol, which we had to return the car full, so we used £43 to £37. Taxi to the airport from the car hire place. Once we dropped the car back, we had to get obviously to the airport to go back to England. That was about £26. Food and drink for the 2 weeks was roughly about £1,000, and we had a little toll fee, which was my fault. It went the wrong way and ended up going through a toll tunnel, but that was about £5 roughly. So the total for our recce trip for 2 weeks in Australia was £11,263.
So the 9,200 odd pounds that you mentioned at the beginning,
Yep.
that was for just our flights and
just our flights,
accommodation,
yeah.
right? And then you've got 2,000 odd pounds on top of that. So £11,263 for a 2-week recce trip. Sounds crazy, but so is travelling to the other side of the world to live, and taking your kids and your dog with you. So
yeah, it's not cheap, but yeah, we definitely advise. Obviously, if you've not been to Australia before, you do need a recce trip. Really, to be honest, it's obviously as soon as we landed, it's just like, yeah, we're in.
Yeah, the one thing that was free on our recce trip actually was the visa. So you have to have a tourist travel visa for the 2 weeks, and you do that online through the government portal, and that was actually free. So
there you go, you're saving money already. That lasts a year as well. I think you can only do 3 months at a time.
And you can't work on it. It's literally just a tourist holiday visa.
So yeah, about getting over here on a 482. So once you've made your decision, you've then got more costs, which is for your visa, using a visa agent, which is what we've done. You can do it yourself, but it was hard enough with a visa agent, the amount of paperwork and hoops you've got to jump through. So yeah, definitely advise using a visa agent.
Yeah, and whilst we're going into detail a little bit about our visa costs, we haven't got an overall full view of how much our visa agent sort of administration costs are yet. So rather than give you inaccurate information, maybe we'll disclose that in a future video. So there is an additional cost, obviously, that goes to the migration agent for sorting everything out. And then on top of that, you've got all of your visa costs.
Yeah.
And who have we been using for our visa? They're called Visa.
Yeah, Visa.
I think it stands for Visa, Immigration, Migration.
Australia or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put a link below to them. The agent we've been using is called Sue, and she's been very good. We've been communicating even on like her days off and stuff like that.
She's very knowledgeable and very helpful and very supportive, and would definitely recommend her.
So back to the 482 costs. This is not PR. This is the 482 for 2 adults, 2 children.
2 years.
2 years, yeah. 2 years at a time. I think you can renew after 2 years, but anyway. So to lodge that was a total of 7,000 Australian dollars. So that is roughly
£3,500.
Yeah, just to lodge it, not do anything else. Just for them to check the paperwork, make sure they're happy with you've got the skills you need. All this, you've got to do like a criminal. They've got to do a police search in the country of residence.
And if you've lived abroad anywhere for a substantial amount of time, you have to provide.
It's 10 years worth of your travel history as well.
Yes, so if you've lived abroad or if you've travelled, they want to know every single trip that you've made. And if, like me, you travel for business, that is a lot of trips that you have to remember. So if you're watching this and thinking of doing this and do a lot of travel, whether that's privately or for business, definitely try and make a note of all of your trips, how long you're there, dates from and to, and obviously countries, because you have to list all of that. And
10 years.
Yeah, if you can't put your hands on your old passport where all of your old stamps are, or you don't have a record, it's tricky.
Yeah, I think, like you said, look at the old videos, but you've got to try and find your old certificates. You've got to do wage slips. There's loads of it, but obviously the agent will help you. But if you need to make sure you've got your stuff in order, because they do ask a lot of questions.
And by the way, if you make it out here on your temporary visa and you're applying for your permanent residency visa whilst you're here, make sure you've taken all of your paperwork with you from the UK to here, because you still need it. So
That's not the end of it.
yeah, don't leave it behind, because you need to have it with you and ready for the next stage.
No, we don't want to scare you off, but it's not just an easy thing. It is a little bit involved. So that was just for lodging. The 482, it was $7,000 total. So I think ours was almost 3,000 on their own, and the kids were a bit cheaper. Coming up for going for the PR. So the next step is, if you're applying for PR with mine, you've got to go through a skills assessment, which is quite annoying because I've been doing my job for 20 plus years. So I've had to prove that I can do my job. I've had to prove I've been paid by an employer, bank statements, wage slips,
P60.
P60s. I've had to show work evidence and stuff that you can do your job. So just to apply for the skills assessment is $1,328 or $2,600. So again, more costs. And once you've gone through that bit, we've just had ours accepted. So they approve the documents. The next step is a technical interview or a practical assessment. So I've got to do a technical interview, and just for a technical interview, I think it's an hour long, is $2,000.
£1,000.
I think it's done over Zoom or Teams or whatever for COVID reasons, even though COVID's not a thing, but $2,000 to sit on your computer for an hour to say, I can do this, I can do that, such and such. So there you go, more costs. Next up, we're going to do so you've got your 482, you're all happy, you're coming over. So we did Move Cube, so we used 7Cs to ship our stuff over. It took about 3 months. We sent it in September and it arrived January. Obviously this was over Christmas, so it might take a bit quicker, but who knows.
I think there's some problems with the Red Sea or something, and that's causing even more delays at the minute. So, and also just a heads up, sometimes it's you kind of think maybe go with a cheaper company just to save some pounds or dollars. We did come across some other expats that had done exactly that, gone for a cheaper option, and they had sent their Move Cube over before us, and they still don't have it, and they keep getting excuses and messages about how it's been delayed, and basically they think, unfortunately, that they've been scammed, so they've lost their money and they've lost their belongings. So again, not to scare you, but we had a really good experience with 7Cs. We're not sponsored by them at all in any way, but we definitely do recommend them because their service was very professional, and can't really fault them, right?
You can always speak to someone on the phone or email. Actually, when your cube's in transit, you can track it all the time, so it literally shows which route it's going, so that was quite good. So the cost we had a medium cube again, like our old videos. We got a choice of a small, medium or large cube, so we went for the medium. So first off, it was £1,028 in England, so there's two costs. You've got an English cost and an Australian cost. So just over £1,000 for in England. And when it arrives, you've got to pay £600 or $1,161. So that is customs, tax, stuff like that. We were quite lucky, I think ours didn't even get opened. So that they did say it could take up to 2 weeks for them to go through customs, and had a notification saying, it's gone through customs fine, all cleared. Contact us to make a date for your delivery.
Yeah, sometimes if they open them up, you might find you face extra charges. So sometimes if they find something that's brand new, that you haven't got the proof that you've owned it for over 12 months, for example, they might charge you tax on it. Or if they find something that's dirty that they need to clean or that they need to get rid of, Again, you may face charges. They'll charge you for having to destroy it or clean it.
So yeah, there we go. It's, roughly just under £2,000 to move your stuff the other side of the world. So next up, you've done that, then it is the actual moving day, which is again quite expensive. So I think we had, so obviously our flights to come over one way, so you're saving money that way, you haven't got to fly back. I think that was roughly £5,000 for our flights. Obviously we came over first and Mrs. Emigrate and the youngest came over 3 weeks later, 2 weeks.
3.
Yeah. So yeah, that was about 5,000 on flights. Various car hires. I think we hired a car for 3 weeks to start with. That's about £550. Healthcare. That is one of the criteria for your 482 is you have to have healthcare in place the whole time you're here.
Yeah, so even though there is a reciprocal agreement with Medicare, which is the equivalent of UK NHS, there's a condition of your 482 that you have to have private healthcare in place. So I guess that you're not coming into the country and just
Sponging off them.
the system, yeah.
So yeah, the healthcare we went for was with Bupa. Obviously there are others available. And that was just under £4,000 for all of us. That's like pretty much the top whack. Covers everything. All your hospitals, extra stuff, opticians, dentists, whatever. What else do we have? We stayed in a hotel the night before at Stansted, so that was £105. We had 22 nights in a hotel when we arrived. Obviously we didn't have anything sorted out when we came here, we didn't have a house or anything rented. So that was just over £2,000 for our accommodation. What else do we have? We did an airport lounge with us.
Bit of
That
luxury.
was our choice before we went. We thought we'd spoil ourselves before we left, so that was £74 and £57. Then we had another 3 weeks of car hire. Again, this was just us because we didn't have another car in place.
No home, no car.
Yeah, so we thought, right, we need another car for another 3 weeks. That was another £600. So yeah, for our moving over costs with all our flights and everything else.
Don't forget about the dog import costs.
Yeah.
Dog import costs alone, I mean, there's lots of different costs, veterinary costs, the quarantine costs, all of that. Unfortunately, that was really expensive. It was probably, apart from the recce trip, one of the most expensive parts of this move. And yeah, I think it came to around £8,000 to import the dog, quarantine, vet costs, all of that. So yes,
It is. Don't want to scare you like we said at the beginning, but it is expensive.
yes.
Merely it's worth it, yeah. Wouldn't look back and wouldn't change anything really. Well, obviously, again, another video with the whole dog story, that was quite stressful and expensive.
But yeah, if you love your dog, unfortunately, you're going to have to pay it.
Or if you don't have a dog or a cat, then you're saving yourself £8,000. So.
So yeah, don't buy a cat or dog before you come.
Yeah.
Buy one when you get here.
Yeah. So right, so the total for moving over came to £14,272. Adding the recce trip of £11,263. The visa fees at the moment, which was £6,000. So the total to get us over here, do a recce trip on a 482, came to £31,539.06.
Does that include the 8,000 dog import fees?
That's not even dog import
So
fees.
that's nearly £40,000 if you include the dog import fees. So if you don't have a dog or cat and you don't do a recce trip, you could probably save yourself half of that.
Yeah, so yeah, you're saving almost 12,000 on that, plus the dog, so you're saving 20,000. Yeah.
So yeah, but as you can see, it's quite an expensive process. So yeah, not for the faint-hearted.
No. So yeah, that's where we're at. We've thought we'd answer you guys' questions on our Instagram. So yeah, I'd like to thank you all for watching. And what else you got, Dave?
And if you're enjoying the videos, like and subscribe. If you like our videos, it helps other people to see them. And yeah, we really appreciate you watching.
Again, any more questions or anything, just drop them in the comments below. We'll respond on there. But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.